My name is Douglas B Cox, C-O-X. I've been at this clinic since 1967. It was 54 years I've been here on June the 15th. Prior to that, I was on the faculty at Palmer College. I also had a practice in Davenport, Iowa for 4 years. So this is really 58 years in practice. Everybody says, "Why do you do that, Doug?" Because I want to. And I need to because I need something to do. I had to give up golf, so that was okay. So I just came back to the clinic and I work 3 or 4 days a week. It used to be 7 days a week.
My name is Dr. Stephen Rindahl, and I'm a chiropractor. Been practicing now, getting started for my 50th year, and I practice in Mount Vernon, Washington.
My name is John Richard Burns. I go by Rick or everything. I graduated from Palmer College of Chiropractic in 1973. Joined the faculty in 1973 at Palmer College of Chiropractic, and I taught there for 40 years, and I've been in practice for 48 years. Right? It's still fun. I've become a better chiropractor because I just keep trying to perfect my art, and so and I figured out that's why they call it the practice of chiropractic. It's not that I figured it out. This is this is practice chiropractic. I feel I'm a better chiropractor this week than I was last week.
Hi everybody, I'm Dr. Claudia Onrig, and I'm a family wellness chiropractor, but I'm second generation. So my upbringing was, when I was a kid growing up, was when our body wasn't functioning well. We never thought about using drugs or chemicals or anything like that. It was just getting up and basically getting an adjustment. And so all I've ever been around is chiropractic. And so it's not unusual for me to have gone to chiropractic college, but I live in Fresno, California. I've been practicing for 40 years now, and the babies in my practice are all growing up and now having their babies, and so I get to see a second generation of people growing up.
Well, I'm Dr. Herb Wood. I'm 71 years old, and I had the good fortune to have my first chiropractic seminar with Dr. Gonstead when I was only in school for a month. So that was back in November 1971. And so from that seminar, I just really fell in love with the Gonstead work and decided that was what I was going to do. And so from that point on, I just did everything I could Gonstead to learn as much as I could about it. And I had field doctors that came along the way and helped me out, and my field doctor in Montana, who is the guy who invited me to that first seminar. So he paid for my motel room down here in the Caracol and bought my meals for me, paid for my seminar, and I learned how to analyze x-rays.
I'm Dr. Doug Valentine. I'm a retired chiropractor who practiced for approximately 45 years. Mostly in Iowa. Did have a little stint in Lake Tahoe for 2 years, and Florida for 2 years, and I came back to my state that I liked the best, which was Iowa, and I'm enjoying retirement at this point. I studied under Dr. Gonstead for 12 years before he passed away, plus I was a patient of his, and my success that I've had in practice, which was really great, I give totally the credit to Dr. Gonstead and his technique that he taught me, more so than the 7 years of college I had to get here. What I'm saying is my 7 years I had of college education really didn't affect my practice as much as what Dr. Gonstead taught me.
Jeanette Taylor. I practice in Santa Cruz, California. Was introduced to Gonstead Chiropractic when I applied to be a chiropractic assistant, wanting to learn more about chiropractic, and the practitioner had just gotten into Gonstead Chiropractic, and now I've been doing it for 35 years.
How's it going? How much longer do you plan on doing it?
I never plan to retire.
My name is Matt Ahman, and I wrote the book, The Gonstead, The Adjuster, which was published in, I believe, 2019 by GCSS. And it's gone a long ways, and most chiropractors, Gonstead chiropractors have the book, and I heard they just recently sold their last copy, so maybe we'll have a second run. We'll find out. So my background was I was a student at University of Wisconsin-Madison here, and I studied history of medicine and science, so I had a lot of exposure to that type of material. And when I became a chiropractor, I thought the Gonstead story was fascinating, So with time, I sort of decided it was a good idea to write a biography about him. And that became a little bit of a rabbit hole. And I spent many, many years acquiring the necessary resources and connections to the people in the Gonstead world to make it a reality.
My name is Pamela LaRue Troxell, and I first became acquainted with the Gonstead system in 1967, seeking care after 2 automobile accidents within a year apart. And that was my beginning experience in life changing.
Name's Rick Albert.
And then we'll go into what you do, how long you've been doing it, where you do it.
Okay, I'm a chiropractor. Graduated from Palmer in 1977. I started coming up to seminars in 1974. While Doc was still alive, I saw him in the latter part of his career. I graduated from Palmer in 77. I opened my practice up in Ames, Iowa in 78. Practiced there until 2012, and I sold the practice there, moved over to Ogden, Iowa, moved back by where my wife was from, and the drive back and forth to Ames wasn't going to be a big deal initially, and then it was, and there was, 5 nights we didn't get home. There's about 15 nights we shouldn't have been out on the road anyhow that first winter. We had a lot of snow. I was the head intern for 6 months in the Troxell intern program, worked with Dr. Troxell for a year. Dr. Troxell rebuilt me after I blew my low back out back in '94. And I learned a lot about empathy then as far as what a patient goes through when they are totally debilitated. I got to the point where I couldn't walk, I couldn't do nothing. And I spent 3 weeks in his basement. He literally rebuilt me.
I'm Dr. Onrig, and I'm a chiropractic doctor. I graduated from Cleveland Chiropractic College in 1969. At this time, Dr. Gonstead already had seminars in Los Angeles, and we realized that, and we a lot of chiropractors from the school during that year. We went to seek already Gonstead when we were in school. So we had the advantage of that for that year that we had about 12 Gonstead seminars before we got out of practice.
I live in Glendive, Montana. Started chiropractic college in the fall of 1975. I grew up in a very chiropractic-oriented family. Come from a family of 9 kids. We've all had a lifetime of chiropractic care. I can comfortably say that I've never gone more than a month without a chiropractic adjustment since I was 2. Lots of different chiropractors in my life, especially when I was younger, but most of my younger career was with a chiropractor from Bismarck, North Dakota by the name of Dr. Carol Winkler. He was the one that told me that when I stopped to visit him after my first month or 2 in chiropractic school, he says, if you want to learn how to adjust, you need to get to the Mount Horeb to Gonstead seminar. So that's what I did.
My name is William M Pollock. I'm a junior. My father was William M Pollock, and he's the one that introduced me to the Gonstead system. He was a dairy farmer and had developed scar tissue on his chest called keloids, and he'd gone to the Mayo Clinic after having gone to all the local doctors and gotten no results, and Mayo Clinic finally told him, there's nothing we can do for you. If we cut these off, they'll grow back twice as big and they'll be twice as painful. So on the way back from Rochester, Minnesota to Wilmington, Illinois, my grandfather said, why don't we stop in Mount Horeb? I saw this old chiropractor there back in the 30s when he was no old chiropractor, he was a young guy. And he fixed a problem I had with a rib, and maybe he can take care of you too. Well, at that time, Gonstead was no longer in the little office downtown or in his clinic that he'd built downtown. He was now in this big clinic on top of the hill in Mount Horeb. So Gonstead checked him out, and he says, well, this is a pinched nerve between your shoulders. He said, I'm going to fix that. 5 adjustments later, the pain that my dad had suffered with for 20 or 30 years was completely gone, and it never came back.
Okay, my name is Charles Martin, and I'm a chiropractor. I've been practicing 43 years at this point, and most of that I've been focused on the Gonstead discipline, I'll call it. It's a very fascinating journey. I've done other things as well. I have a diplomat in chiropractic neurology. I have a Bachelor of Science in psychology and done some writing, and but it's always been foundational around the subluxation and what out there in chiropractic addresses the subluxation in the most basic and straightforward manner.
I'm Dr. Tom Sherman of Hiawatha, Iowa, and to be honest with the Gonstead method, that's all I've ever known, because Doug Cox, who was one of the doctors here with Dr. Gonstead, who still practices to this day, he was my instructor in college, and then Jerry McAndrews and him practiced together in Davenport, Iowa, and I went to Jerry McAndrews because I had so many student patients that I couldn't take care of them all. You know, I had like 80 some, and you got to have 9 or 10. So I went to him and I said, I've got to get rid of some of these patients. He said, I'll tell you what, if you come and intern for me, you could get rid of 10 patients. So I did that. Well, Doug Cox happened to be his partner. So Doug and I were great friends, and I bought into their clinic in 1974. 75 it would have been. Anyway, I practiced with Doug for a year, and then I decided to leave and go to Hiawatha, Iowa. So I built my own practice.